Good evening. I'll call the May 13th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. David, you want to do roll call?
Pete Saunders, Vicky Gushrowski,
Present.
Mark Danielson,
Present.
Brian Cager,
Here.
Nate Laux.
Present.
4 present.
Thank you. Did we have a meeting? Do we have anything to talk about with our meeting minutes from last time?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last month.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Our first variance this evening is to bring the minimum front yard setback from 25 feet to 17 feet. Petitioner, step forward. State your name and address, please.
Herman Payton, 401 Rockwood Street, LaPorte.
Thank you.
I have a garage that needs to come down because a tree hit it. The insurance company says it needs to come down, and I want to rebuild, but I want to rebuild larger. And my setback is going to be now 17 feet instead of 25. The garage will be 24 by 30. So that's basically it.
So the current is 18 by 18?
18 by 18, from the back of the property,
Yep.
it's 3 foot off. And I'm going to extend it from 18 to 30 out.
Okay.
Which hits the 17.
Yep.
And then instead of 18 wide, it's going to be 24 wide.
Great.
Going towards the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming to the street and going towards the house. We're not going over towards the other property.
Gotcha. What are you going to do with all this extra room?
Just so I can get my vehicles in a garage
Okay.
now. It's full of, I gotta park on the street, or, it's just, my vehicles need to go in a garage.
Jeff Batchelor's going to be really happy to hear that, so good news.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
David, do you want to give us a summary?
Yeah, so item number 4, variance of development standards 25-04, petition is,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
so is to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 25
Sir?
feet.
Sir?
Sir! Sit real quick, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we'll approve it, and then you can leave, I promise. And nobody wants to be here longer than you, I know, but just wait
get
1
you.
second.
Yep.
Thank you.
So it's to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 25 feet to 17 feet along the south property line. As you can see on the petitioner's site plan that he's provided, Rockwood and Warren Street is the cross street, and he is requesting from the Warren Street property line. This parcel is currently has a house on it, an existing garage. The proposed location for the detached garage is in the technically what you call the side street front yard of a corner lot is termed in the zoning ordinance, which is required to meet the front yard setbacks of the zoning district that it's within. And so just really briefly, the petitioner's requested size does meet the maximum area limitation for a detached accessory building of a maximum of 721 square feet. So the decision criteria they are to review with these requests is the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. This proposed building is located in an area that is no closer than the front of the house, as you can see there, and just showing some of the photos that I took of the site. This is from the Rockwood Street front yard. You can see the existing houses along Warren Street. And then this is the existing garage, as you can see, kind of in line with where the cars are parked would roughly be where the garage would be. And then this is just showing the setback between the side area, which is a minimum of 3 feet from the side and the back property line, as the petitioner has indicated on his attached site plan. And then the separation between the garage and the house is a minimum of 10 feet, which is indicated on the site plan. Two, that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The proposed use for personal storage for the detached garage will not affect the surrounding properties in a negative manner. Three, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance would result in a reasonable difficulty in the use of the property for personal storage because the property is situated on a corner lot with not really much of a backyard there. Side street there along the Rockwood Street between the house to the north. And so it would not otherwise be able to construct the garage in its location within the maximum area limitations. So staff does find that the requested variance of development standards petition conforms to the goals and policies of the countywide land development plan. The requested variance to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 25 feet to 17 feet along the south property line. So staff recommends approval of the petitioner's request to reduce the minimum front yard setback on a corner lot side street from 25 feet to 17 feet along the south property line as regards to variance of development standards petition 25-04, and then I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open it up for public comment. And with no public comment, we'll close this section. Staff?
I have no questions.
No? I'll make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
Mr. Payton, you can leave now. Congratulations.
Thank you. The next petitioner, step forward, please.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. I'm Dave Ambers, attorney here in town with an office at 601 State Street, Suite B. I'm here on behalf of Maple City Packaging. They're a company that moved here back in around 2021 from Illinois, so we stole a good one. And now they would like to expand upon their property up on Highway 39 North. We're asking for two variances. Just to give you a little background, back in 2021, my client had to get a variance to put the packaging company there. They package baby powder, and the county granted that unanimously. Now that the city has annexed the property, my client has the need to expand his business, so we're here for a variance. The first one on your agenda is to allow expansion of the existing powder manufacturing facility. Even though it's in R1B, everything across the street, across Highway 39 is heavy industrial. You've got the storage in the Electric Union building to the north, the car lot, quote, storage area, whatever you call that, south of the viaduct, to the south. So they'd like the variance to continue and to expand. Then the second variance would be to reduce the landscape setback from 50 feet to 20 feet on the south. David, you'll see in his staff report, changed our original request to meet the vegetation that's out there now to the 20 feet instead of 10. And then on the east side, a 10-foot landscape barrier instead of 50 to keep in line with the landscaping that's already there, screening my client's facility from the few residential houses that are out in that neighborhood. Second part of the development standards variance is to reduce parking from 50 to 20. Based on square footage of the building, they would need 50 under the ordinance. Given real life and the number of employees they have at their business, they can get by easily with 20 parking spaces. I'm not going to read the standards for granting the variance to you. David covers those well, and he covered them in his staff report. But we believe that both petitions match the ordinance, won't unduly compromise the comprehensive plan, and let a new employer for the community continue to grow and expand his business. If you have any questions specific to the business, Mr. Costco's here, he'll answer those. He knows baby powder, I know paper.
Thank you.
Do you want to do questions now, or do you want to wait until after your staff report? So you're asking for a variance for the amount of parking, obviously. You're expanding the business. Will you have more employees, or are you keeping your employee set around the same?
Initially, the employee amount will remain the same.
Yep.
However, the customer that is approaching me with this additional business, which is what necessitates the addition of the building, they are pushing me to expand to a second shift, at least in the short term.
Great.
Until the space is needed so that I can have enough inventory in order to keep the lines producing on a daily basis. Right now, the lack of space prohibits me from bringing in the amount of material I need in order to keep the lines running 5 days a week as it is. This additional space would potentially allow for a second shift to be staffed on a regular basis. However, I don't think when I fully get up and going that that will be necessary. At least I'm really hoping not. But that's,
Yeah.
that's.
I
that's
hope,
kinda-
I hope for your sake and for our sake in the community that does happen and your growth continues to thrive here, because that's exciting. Anytime we see growth like this happen, that's great.
Yeah.
We increase employees in our petition, I believe it's 18 now, you would go to 25 with the second shift?
Yes.
Yeah, great. The other question, or the other comment I had was, you know, you're in an area that, you know, you're now new into the city.
Yes.
And as we're kind of figuring out how all that works together, zoning laws, I appreciate all the companies out there, all the people out there that are being patient and figuring this out with us. And we're excited about this kind of hand-in-glove relationship and growth going forward, because we believe that that can really happen. So thanks so much for petitioning and growing with us.
Sure.
And I know in regards to both of the variances, there are some conditions. Are you aware of those? Are you okay with those?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's have David give us the summary.
Yeah.
So we're all aware.
So item number 5, I'm gonna break this down because there's a lot going on here. Use variance 25-01 petition is specifically to allow the expansion of the existing powder packaging manufacturing units in the R1 diesel district. What was previously approved when it was in the Porte County, 2021, as was included in your packet and described by Attorney Ambers. The expansion includes all future the buildings that are included on the site plan, as you see. So the petitioner is kind of outlined, and it's also included in your packets as well. My impression is number 1 is the most important building on
That is
this.
correct.
And then there's some gaps that the petitioner would like to fill in. If you want to touch on number 3 on the site.
Number 3 is a long-term wish list type of thing. I wasn't exactly sure what type of challenges there may be with the number 1 building, so the number 3 would have been choice number 2, as those are the areas of the lot that allow for the most area to be constructed under roof. But ideally, the number 1 is, that's, if I can get that, the rest of it I can make do without if need be, but the number 1 is really instrumental to what it is that I'm trying to accomplish.
And so I met with Mr. Costco on May 2nd at the property just to get an idea of what's going on there. And I wanted to walk through some of the pictures, but we did discuss at that time that number 3, as indicated in the site plan, would potentially take more variances because of the potential setbacks to the Kuchar Drive and 39. There shouldn't be an issue on the 39 side as far as setback, but extending that
True.
north, there's going to be an additional primary setback there, so that can be addressed at a later date if
Mhm.
you would be interested in that. But kind of more on the side of going through the item number 6, just briefly touching on that, because that, the variance of development standard 25-05 petition is to reduce the minimum landscape setback from 50 feet to 10 feet on the south and east property boundaries, because the properties that are adjacent to the east are residential use, as described by the zoning ordinance, and the south as well. The south property is located outside of the city limits. There's a long, indicated by a long driveway, as you can see, that goes from State Road 39 north there. And then the second part of that variance is to reduce the minimum parking requirements from 50 parking spaces to 20 parking spaces because of the proposed square footage that the petitioner has outlined in the So without further ado, I'll just go through some of the staff analysis that we went through. Staff did meet with Attorney Ambers and Mr. Costco for site review, city engineer and myself met with him to go over some potential things with the site. One of which it talked at length was the drainage and how everything was going to work together with future building increases. So one of those could be submitting a drainage plan. I didn't add it to the conditions, but that could be a potential condition is what would be required before you permits would be issued for a building to make sure drainage is adequately assessed. So just wanted to cover that real quickly. The second part of this, and I'm going to laser pointer here. So discussing the landscape setbacks on the south and east side. As you can see at the driveway that I was mentioning, the subject property, staff does a 20-foot wide landscape buffer to allow for spacing of trees because there is an existing tree line on the neighbor's property to the south. They don't want to interfere with that to allow more space for trees to be located in the space where the building would be roughly about 20 feet away from the property line anyway. And so you can see that one there. So that goes to roughly where the building corner would be. As you can see on this map, it says the existing building is located here. And then the proposed building would be like an L shape there. On the east side, staff does suggest a 10-foot landscape buffer. If there's any future development for residential, it's adequate to provide a continuation of landscaping along the new portion of the building, what's already proposed on the site. Just going through some of the photos that we took on the site. This is looking from Kuchar Drive. It's currently gravel. It is in the city's interest to pave Kuchar Drive in the near future. And so that will be an access that will need to be hard surfaced just for the driveway approach, as staff is recommending for the conditions, within a reasonable amount of time frame as the road is not currently paved. And so it doesn't make much sense to be able to do that. This is looking towards where the building would be located, kind of exactly pretty much almost right where the red cursor is close to where the building would be, if not a little bit to the right of that. And so the 10-foot landscape area would just go straight back along the left side of this image here, where just past the citrus tree there, and continue down that way. This is the proposed location of the building, the new building. This is the existing building on the back half of the property that was added shortly after the this is looking so you can see kind of laying in the grass there. That's where the building, we walked it off and measured it. That's where kind of the building would stop according to the site plan itself. And then again, this just shows kind of the edge of where that proposed building would be. There's an existing drain kind of about 10 feet or 10 or 15 feet to the left of that image, as you can see in that depression there, where the dandelions are. This is showing where kind of an alignment where the 20-foot setback would be for the building edge. So you can see kind of in line with the existing buildings there on the property. And then this just shows where the trees can be filled in along that line for the driveway. And not interfere with the neighbor's trees there. This again just shows the existing building, how close that is to the line, kind of in line with where the proposed building would be located. It just kind of shows that line street to the west, there's a few industrial properties as well as a house as well. And then, so the property is currently served by 2 access points, so both of which have, in the future, when whichever way would be paved, would be required, if granted as far as the condition, to hard surface with asphalt coming off of the asphalt road there. And then this just shows the existing sign there, which is allowed to stay as proposed in the recommended conditions. And any future signage would sign ordinance. Staff does recommend approval of both variance requests, and I can read the conditions for you, or we can have discussion if you would like.
Thank you.
Mr. Lesko, how soon are you wanting to get this started? How much it cost?
Within,
Soon as
actually, as
possible.
soon as possible. I mean, I have the building that we added a couple of years ago, I've already spoken with that contractor. I have a quote from him. I am not sure at this point what his schedule is like. I know he has been very busy in LaPorte County over the last couple of years. I see, he has told me of all the buildings he's been putting up in LaPorte County. I've seen his signs out in front of projects that he's been doing. I would hope, I would really hope that I would be able to have construction completed by year end.
Okay.
And then also too, just to verify, you had mentioned a second shift, just to verify there won't be any truck traffic during that second shift?
There will be no shipping and
Okay.
receiving conducted on
Okay.
a second shift,
You know,
If there's a second shift.
if there's a second shift.
Okay.
it's important for us, right? Even if and when we approve this, that, you know, the people that are seeking it seek to be good neighbors as well. So I appreciate that you're doing that.
Sure.
Any other?
No?
At this time, I'll open it up for public comment. And with that, I'll close public comment. Do we want to divide this into the 2 sections that it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should probably vote on the first one.
Sure.
And then the second one. I'll make a motion to approve the first one with the conditions that were in place by the city, if you're okay with that and you're aware of those.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That is the,
Yeah, item
use
5.
variance, number 2501. And then I'll make a motion to approve item number 6, variance of development standards, number 2505.
Second.
And that is with the 10 feet and 20 feet setbacks.
Yeah, and then with the conditions that were in place
As
for that.
outlined.
Laid out
Yep.
by the city, yes.
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
hope you get that second shift and you just keep on growing here in LaPorte.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks for
folks.
coming here.
Item 7 is old business. Item 8 is new business. Item 9 is other business. And item 10,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hard.
We are adjourned.